Hello, tea family. How are you this evening? I am so glad you're here. Today, we're going to be diving into one of my favorite teas and a very popular autumn tea, and that is appealing. So, say hello in the chat. Let me know what you're drinking. Is it hot? Is it cold? And then just let us know that you're here. I am excited to be here. It has been a very long week, and we've got another full week ahead of us. So I'm looking forward to seeing if anybody tried their free samples from our custom tea last week and what you thought. I'm my handy dandy assistant is also here, and actually, handy dandy assistant, could you please go check our water and make sure it's boiling? Because we're going to need boiling water today for appealing. Appealing is a loose leaf black tea with freeze dried Macintosh apples and cinnamon. And so it's got a lot of the great flavors of fall, all in a cozy cup. Is it boiled? Okay, perfect. And so we are looking forward to having some of that today. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, what does it look like? It looks like this. Kim is here and she's drinking Aloha Breeze tonight. So this is what appealing looks like. And normally I would show you very much not in a glass. I would actually take the tea out and I would put it out. But one of the reasons why I'm not going to do that with the peeling is it has freeze-dried apples in them, and apples, especially Macintosh apples, are very sweet. And so that when you have so much sugar, sometimes the freeze-dried fruit, any kind of moisture, especially on today where it's a little more humid out, it's going to start to rehydrate some of those apples right away, which is one of the reasons why in every package of a peeling tea, you do have a little oxygen sucker thing. It's going to absorb some of the oxygen inside the package as you open and close. And so that's why I am actually not going to take it out of the jar today, but this is exactly what it looks like. As you can see the apple, you can see little bits of the cinnamon as well as the black tea. And I'm going to use my small little jar. That's my personal stash. This one I do have a personal stash, and I am going to make it. So Diane is drinking Highland Dawn hot. That sounds lovely. Today is one of our first sunny days, so I'm not surprised about the Aloha Breeze for Kim. I want a little more. There we go. But hey, has everybody had a chance to try their free sample or their sample from last week's live yet? Diane, I'm hoping it arrived in the mail, but did everybody have a chance to try it? What was it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think about it? Have you had a chance to? I know it's been a busy week for some. So while I'm doing this, please put your in the chat or comments, depending on which platform you're using. Appealing is a black tea, so we have our water boiled. And if my handy dandy assistant will give me 3 minutes on the clock, please. 3 minutes for your first brew, 4 minutes for your second brew, 5 minutes for your third brew. Kim has not yet tried it. Maybe later today or tomorrow. No rush. I just figured I would check in. Diane, it did arrive though, Diane, right? Or are you saying you haven't tried it yet, or are you saying it hasn't arrived yet? It was supposed to be there Friday. But, you know, I can't guarantee the mail anymore. We did have 3 minutes on the clock? Yep. Perfect. All right. So while this is brewing, like I said, 3 minutes for the first brew, and we are really excited. So here's something fun. Apples are actually related to roses. They're kind of considered in the science world a rose in the rose family. So the next time you're sipping on an apple tea like appealing, you might want to think about, do you have kind of that floral note to it? And cinnamon actually Oh, it hasn't arrived yet. That is so upsetting, Diane. It was supposed to be there Friday, and it's obviously Sunday, and it's not there. And hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. Cinnamon, as I was saying, that you find like in appealing, was at one time more valuable than gold, and that was during medieval Europe. So technically, this tea has both a royal and a romantic component. I mean, you got to give you a little history. Got to give you a little history as we go. All right. So our tea is brewing. I'm anxiously waiting to hear that the 3 minutes are up, so I can stop waiting it for it. But you got to see the colors, and there's some decent sized pieces of the freeze dried apples. I have to say that Rich really does, after we've brewed it 3 times, he'll still pick through and pull all those little pieces of apple out and eat them. And because he's like, I'm not going to waste an apple, especially a Macintosh apple. So, you can do that. You can also use it in other variety of ways, but um, we're still going to want to make sure it's 2.5 grams, a rounded teaspoon. You saw I had to go back in there, and it's going to have a very overly rounded teaspoon because the freeze dried apples take up a lot of space, but not a lot of weight. So you want to make sure you're putting in a little bit more until you get adjusted. Now, this tea can be great with, honey, black milk, whatever. But let's talk a little bit about food pairings. We always like to talk about like what's good, what's better, what's unusual that you may not have thought of. I've kind of got 3 levels of pairing today. I got those that complement the flavors, those that kind of contrast against the flavors, and then some unusual but amazing kind of thing. Oh, yay, there I am. Hear that? Did you hear that sound in the background? That means I get to take this out, and look at that. See that beautiful, beautiful color? I do have to let it cool for just a second or two. Hey, Dominique, welcome, welcome. So, one of the things that I would say, and if we're talking about complementary foods, is something else that you'll see right here. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. We're letting this cool for a second. Okay. Anybody want to guess? I mean, obviously it's a scone, but anybody want to guess what kind of scone? Any guesses? Put it in the chat or comments about what kind of scone you think this is. Because this is my very first one that I would say is a complimentary. So I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to take a sip of my tea while you put in the chat or comments what kind of scone you think that is for a complimentary flavor. All right. I feel like, again, I should have the Jeopardy music on, waiting. A sausage scone. There you go. That would be really interesting to do. You're making me think like breakfast, like biscuits and sausage. Yeah, that sort of thing. It's funny because I was just listening to a program that was talking about breakfasts and different things like that. So that's kind of funny. But no, it is not sausage. Any other guesses? Good guess, though. Really good guess, especially since you obviously know I usually like savory things as opposed to the overly sweet things. I'm hoping you guys guess quick because I really want to try this. It has been waiting. Apple cinnamon. Now that is a great scone. It is not an apple cinnamon scone, but that would be perfect because you're going to have the apples and cinnamon in here is going to complement the apple cinnamon in here in the tea. They would go together beautifully. Apple cinnamon was her second guess. So we've had 3 guesses. This is actually a fresh milled grain. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Maple scone. So there's actually no cinnamon in it. It is made instead of a different sugar. It has maple syrup in it, official, organic, pure maple syrup. Oh, orange cranberry would be another good one. I could definitely do that. That's going to make me really think Christmas time. Orange cranberry scones. Orange cranberry always makes me think of Christmas. I love that answer, Diane. But this is a maple scone. The maple syrup, as opposed to sugars, it is not a very overly sweet scone. But one of the things that I've been doing lately is I have some recipes I'm still using regular flours for, but most of my recipes I've gone to fresh milled grain. So I have the wheat berries and then I grain up the flour myself. And in the well, that's true. It does go in the grinder in my KitchenAid. But what happens is I've gone to like heirloom wheats. So it's not the same wheat that we're used to eating. And what I will tell you is it absolutely complements the scone so much. I get more nutty flavor out of this one. And what's funny is it has a soft white wheat in it and it has a hard red wheat in it. And those are the kinds of wheat I use. But what's really funny is it almost has like that maple syrup and oats, almost like you took oatmeal and poured maple syrup on it. It's kind of got not completely the same flavor, but very, very similar. Now that maple flavor is really going to go well with the apple. And I can't resist anymore. I was really good. We had a picnic I went to today. I even brought peach cobbler in. I did not give in to any of the desserts. I ate my salad. I was super good, but I'm going to have a bite of this. So super yummy. Oh yeah. I could eat that. I might not have been able to resist this at the picnic had I been, but let me do this. Hmm. So whereas before I had kind of like an oat, the nuttiness of the wheat almost gave me kind of an oat feel or an oat taste to it. When I had that sip of tea, that apple literally just jumped out. Absolutely jumped out in flavor. I mean, you want to talk about complimentary, completely enhanced that flavor. Wow. This is a combination. If you're going to have a cheat day on Thanksgiving, this is the combination that I think I would be cheating with, but it's a little messy. We did add a glaze on part of it, and we did just a very simple maple syrup and cinnamon glaze. And oh my goodness. So, but it's not overly sweet because we all know I don't add a lot of sugars and things like that, but that is yummy. I highly recommend. If you need the recipe for that, let me know. I ran out of time this week. I wanted to try and make like a spiced apple or a spiced pear petite four little mini cake or a tea cake, but that would be another thing that would pair well with it. It's like a pear cake, especially in like a little mini or a spiced cake. Now, if you wanted to kind of go in more of the contrasting flavors, I'm talking a sharp white cheddar manchego or even an extra sharp white cheddar cheese. You're going to have creaminess, but you're going to have tang. Whereas the tea is going to have kind of the sweet note to complement. And we're going to get back to something that Kim said, and that savory sausage you were talking about. I would actually go with a sausage quiche. Hopefully, my face didn't give away that I was going to say sausage later today, earlier. But breakfast meets tea. I mean, it's a perfect time. But the peppery notes of the sausage are really going to bring out the cinnamon in the tea, and the apple's going to kind of balance that sweetness. Now, I want to talk about some things that might be unusual, but I think would be, and when I have tried in the past, have been amazing. So, like a curry chicken salad, especially on like a crostini toast, the warm spices from the curry are going to play really well with the cinnamon in the tea. And then again, the sweetness of the apple. The curry does not have to be super spicy. It can be more of a mild curry, but those same flavors are going to blend really well and then be balanced out and with the apple. The other thing I would say is dark chocolate. If you have a really high quality dark chocolate, especially with no sugar added, and maybe even with a pinch of sea salt, the bitterness of the dark chocolate plus the salt is going to really bring out the sweetness of the apple. It's almost going to taste a lot like caramel. And on that note, which one of those, put in the chat or comments, which one of those you think you most want to try? Which one of those combinations do you think you would most want to try? And whatever one of those are, I'm always interested to see which ones you would use and you would pair, because I can try all these flavors and have fun with that, but I want to see what you like. Let's see. And as you're doing that, and take another sip. It's just so good. Get the apple pop. All right. So one of the other things is, I don't know if you're surprised by that pinch of salt. So a lot of times that tiny pinch of salt in even a black tea can bring out some hidden sweetness in anything in complimentary. And it is something that not a lot of people think of, especially someone like me, because Diane's like, I want the maple scone. Yeah, it's very scrumptious, I promise. I have watched my sodium a lot, and so the idea of adding salt someplace when I don't need to have salt is not necessarily. But every time I've tried it, when people are like, "Well, I've tried this," and I talk to other tea people, and they're like, "Well, I had it with a pinch of this, and oh my gosh!" And so that's one of those things that I wanted to kind of share with everybody. Okay, so when you do that, that cinnamon's going to taste deeper. The sweetness of the apple is going to come out more. It's actually a lot of fun. If you were going to use this tea in a mocktail, I would brush the mug with like an apple juice and then do like a spicy sugar. I don't know if you realize this, but you can make spicy sugars. You can make infused sugars. I would probably do a chai spice to it and put that on the outside of your mocktail, and then pour the tea, obviously probably iced inside. It would really make for a delicious treat. Okay. And so I wanted to talk to everybody today because I did have, and now I don't know how to get to it. Babe, could you bring me my tablet, please? I am at to the point where I really would love to hear what you all think. I am in the process of getting my tablet, which is a very helpful thing. Thank you so much. So that I can access it. I'm trying to decide about, we are going to be doing that tea and a mystery like we did this year. You get a 1 ounce of tea each month, a different tea. You get a recipe for it, and then you get 1 chapter of a serial. It'll start in January and it'll end in December, and you will find out who done it in December. That's official. But this year in 2025, those who joined they didn't know, but that very first month they got a white magnet box, the really pretty box with wrapped, and then the first chapter was wrapped in ribbon inside, and so the box was there so that they could add their chapter each month. But let's see if I can get my tablet up and running really, really quickly. There. But let's see. Sorry, everybody. I know I'm trying not to do the dead air. I am trying to find something really quick. But I thought I would read you the first paragraph, and then I'm going to ask you what we should present it in this year. I like to have something for the chapters to go into so that you can collect them and read the story again, because I'm a reader, and so I get a book or I get a story, and I'm not just going to necessarily read it once if I've enjoyed it. And so, okay. Are you ready? Everybody ready? Okay. The tin arrived without a return address. It was an ordinary Thursday morning. when the cafe's morning delivery included something extraordinary. A weighty black tin marked only with a wax seal and a name. A seal that you didn't recognize. Inside, carefully packed among the loose leaves of I'm not going to tell you what blend it is first, but it's not Serene Sunrise. I'm going to hold that one. Was a single note, handwritten in steady block letters. Keep this safe. Do not open until you are instructed. By nightfall, 2 strangers had come asking for this tin, each stranger swearing that they were from a government agency, each warning the other would kill to have it. Somewhere in this ordinary tin of tea lay a secret powerful enough to start a war. And for reasons you can't yet understand, they all believe you are holding the key. The first mission is begun. The clock is now ticking, and someone in this city is lying to you already. All right. First of all, let me know if you're intrigued by the start of that story and it sounds like something that you'd be interested in for next year. Second of all, I'm trying to decide between, do we go with another box, a different kind of box, and kind of treat it like an evidence box? Or do we do some kind of binder, maybe like a leather or fake genuine leather kind of a binder where I can 3-hole punch everything and you can kind of put it in the binder to read the story? What are your thoughts? You know, which do you think would be more attractive? Because obviously we want people to read the story and enjoy the teas. And that's why I didn't give away. You'll be a surprise every month. And then there is a recipe that will complement the tea that you will enjoy. So let me know in the chat or comments, everybody. What do you think? First of all, does it sound intriguing? And second of all, should I go with the binder, or like a leather type binder? Or should I go with another box, an evidence box? Let me know. It's always interesting to find out what you think. Alrighty then. And then while I'm giving you a chance to do that, manila envelopes folder type thing. Okay, I get you're saying like an evidence collection box. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate it. Or in a black tin. So it won't be in a tin. My thought process is like if I use a tin, then I'll need to use a tin every month. But I've got an idea on that, so we're gonna do something a little bit different. It is not going to be our traditional packaging. Let me put it that way. It won't be our traditional packaging. It'll definitely be kind of much more thematic. The teas will be the same ones that you can get on our website or get from us. The ingredients will all be listed, but it will not be our traditional packaging. That is one of the things that we're working on, and I thought, what better time than when I'm all talking to you guys about appealing. I will tell you that some of the teas are not available any other time. They might have been an event only, or they might have been a one-time only, or they might have been a tea. I have one tea next year that we are creating just for that month. It kind of has a role in the story, and so we are creating a specialty just for that month. So, but that is what I thought I would bring up. I appreciate all of you. Even if you're not watching this live and you're watching on the replay, which we do have a lot of people that end up watching on the replay, especially after a busy day like today, definitely want to say that go ahead and still put your comment in the chat or the comments, and I would love to listen to it. Okay, so what about appealing tea or some of the things that I had come in here? Which one of those combinations surprised you the most? Maybe the food pairings or kind of the history of the apples and the cinnamon. Which one of those things, those fun facts surprised you the most today? And, or if you're not really sure, you're like, I can't remember that long ago. That was like more than 2 minutes ago. What is your favorite way to enjoy a peeling tea? Is it hot? Is it cold, as in iced, or is it in like a mocktail or mixed in with something else? Let me know because we've done all three before, and I'm always interested to hear that. Let's see. My handy dandy assistant said a sealed black box with a slot cut into it to put the papers inside. Okay. Apples and roses. Diane says she was most surprised about the apples and roses. Yeah, it's fun sometimes to find out that apples are part of the rose family. I never would have thought of that, but I get it. When I start to think about it, they have that wonderful, beautiful scent. Apple trees. I love the smell of apple trees in an apple orchard. Those kind of things. It makes sense once you know, and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. But yeah, I love finding out the fun facts for you all. And since you enjoy them, I am happy to look for them and share them. But all right, well, that is all I have to say about appealing other than enjoy. It's here. It's only here until November. We only make a certain number of packets. Kim likes to drink it hot mid-morning. That's the perfect time too, because with the caffeine, you don't have to worry about it. As long as you have your first cup or two in the morning, that last cup doesn't have much caffeine. You can even have one before bed. But hot in the morning, mid-morning. I love that. That's a great time to have a nice caffeinated cup of tea. A handmade wooden box. Okay. Yep. We could do a handmade wooden box would be good too. That's what I'm like, and I keep bouncing back and forth. I have to make a decision within the next week because I have to potentially get a couple ready or at least one ready for when I go to the shows so that people can know that they can get that tea in a mystery subscription. Professional writer this year. It's not just me. I will tell you, maybe the handy dandy assistant could whip some up. I think he's going to be helping me make some tea. But potentially, yes. Definitely potentially. We are going to start, our season is going to be busy. I can't remember what we're doing next week, but it is not question and answer. I know that that's in 2 weeks. So if you want to start to go ahead and get your questions out early, that would be great because 2 weeks will be our first big event. And then we are busy in the season. And so, yep, once I've got to make some decisions pretty quick. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Hopefully you learned something and you enjoyed something. I will tell you that only because I'm not a sweets person, and it's pretty late at night, I'm not going to finish it, but I will probably take the next few days and eat a bite here and there because this is really good. Highly recommend. Try a maple scone with your appealing tea. And I will see you next Sunday, 6 p.m. Central. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. See you later, everybody. Bye.